the show. It's a Thursday. It's Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. And too much drama outside the sports world, really. And we've got, my name is Wally Scott. Welcome on the show. Mukail, we've got the Lagos Swan chairman on the phone. And the secretariat has been sealed up by the DSS. And you're asking yourself, what does that even mean? Why would the DSS...
We only usually hear of things like that happening, a secretariat happening when it's a political party secretariat being shut down. So it is a sports story, but you might be forgiven for thinking this is a political scandal about to erupt.
Lagos Swan chairman Debo Oshundun, welcome on the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, what is this? These stories are going around now. DSS setting up the secretariat of Lagos Swan. What does this even mean?
Well, that's the situation on Friday. 3 lost a vehicle of operative of DSS in company of some of people that claim to be caretaker committee came to the Swan secretariat. Those people are the tenants and staff there, and they lock up the place.
Now, what are their reasons for this? This is the sports writers secretariat. What are their reasons?
Well, their reason is that they heard that they are going to be inauguration of caretaker committee according to them. And they wanted to come there to maintain peace or whatever. But our point is that we have had our elections, which I won, and we have always making no to DSS because we've been to DSS with these people on the 3 occasions, and we established the fact that there are 2 factions at the national level. Lagos, we don't have any faction, we don't have any problem in Lagos. But because one of the factions leader or the president has said, who is a permanent secretary in Ministry of Youth and Sport in Rivers, wanted us to be part of his own factions by asking us to revalidate our membership. And our argument is that because you said you are not part of NUJ, we find it a bit uncomfortable. Because you must be a journalist first before you can be a big aspiration membership. So we said no. Let us find a way of resolving the crisis at the national level first before we can talk of the validation of our membership. And when we were to have an election, we got in touch with the national president of NUJ. And he told us that we should liaise with the council chairman of NUJ in Lagos, which we did, and they were the one that supervised the election. And the election was seamless. But they think that they have the power to be by their contact with DSS to come and intimidate us. So they came, they seal up their intention is to pick me up on Friday and probably release me on Monday. But fortunately, I wasn't at the secretariat that day. They came, they drove people out, they locked up the place, and they moved to the Teslim Balogun Stadium where we parked the vehicle given to us by Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Olu. Once we went in there without no paper, please note, there was no paper from court. They either saw court summons or injunction that give them that power to this what they did at the secretariat. They left the secretariat after they have accomplished their mission, moved to Teslim Balogun Stadium with a train vehicle, towed the vehicle given to us by Lagos State government without even taking permission of where we parked the vehicle. And they were about driving it out of the Teslim Balogun Stadium. They've got to the point of gate when they stopped them that where are you taking the vehicle? And they lied that the vehicle is faulty, and I asked them to come and tow it. And the management of Teslim Balogun in their own wisdom said no. The driver driving this vehicle is our staff. let us find out from him first before we allow you out. And when they asked the driver said nothing's wrong with the vehicle. So they stopped them and they lie again that they are from the Area C Police Command, that they were asked to bring the vehicle to Port Harcourt from instruction from God knows where. But fortunately enough, the DG and the chairman of Sport Commission prevented them from taking the vehicle away. That is our own story.
Lagos Chairman Debo Oshundun, thank you very much for joining us today on the show. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, Mukail, that was the Lagos Swan chairman talking about a committee being set up. The DSS came into play here. He claims, because we're still going to get in touch with the chairman of the new committee, Aaron. We'll get in touch with him very soon. However, he claims that because they have the powers that be, they can work with the DSS, the chairman is a permanent secretary in Rivers State and blah, blah, blah. He says they brought the DSS in, told the vehicle that was given the sports writers by Lagos State government were actually towing it away when they caught them at the gate, and they actually even lied. This is his part of the story. Tomorrow we have to look for the other part of the story. There has to be another part of the story.
Well, I mean, we've talked so often about how pervasive politics seems to play a part in our sports.
And it's actually spoiling things all the time.
And it also highlights the fact that ultimately where there's so little unity in how our sporting institutions are run, every time there's an election, there's a winner, a loser, and then factions are broken up, and a split that ultimately damages the integrity and the mission of those institutions. We've seen it with the NFF in the past. We know that someone on high is always supporting one faction over the other and creating the kind of tussle.
But this is a case of, like the guy said, the chairman just said, he said, we went through the right channel, we did the right thing.
The elections
we
were
had
held.
an election, and the elections were held, and he won. And he doesn't understand where this is coming from.
Well, of course.
I know more to this than most people know. But you know, let me stay on the fence.
Obviously, when a duly conducted election has gone on, a winner has emerged. The only reason why anyone can continue to push through what is tantamount to guerrilla tactics or coup tactics is because they do have support from on high. Someone up there is saying, go ahead, I have your back.
Let's just stay on the fence on this for now until we get the other side of the story. Now, the Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa and his vice captain William Troost Ekong have urged the Nigerian Football Federation to ensure the fans come in their numbers, as well as provide a good pitch for their crucial Qatar 2022 World Cup qualifying playoff versus Ghana in Abuja. Nigeria, who are featured in 6 of the past 7 World Cups, slug it out with the Black Stars in Cape Coast on March 24th before both teams tango again at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, 3 days later. Troost Ekong added that the players were aware of the big task ahead and called on the government to ensure that the Abuja Stadium pitch was in pristine condition for the return leg encounter against the Black Stars. Among the players present alongside Musa and Troost Ekong were Victor Osimhen, Abdullahi Shehu, Sadiq Umar, Jamilu Collins, Frank Onyeka, Semi Ajayi, Kelechi Nwakali, Wilfred Ndidi, Zaidu Sanusi, Joe Aribo, Ogenekaru Etebo, Daniel Akpeyi, Peter Olayinka, Taiwo Awuni, Moses Simon, Kelechi Iheanacho, Alexi Wobi, Samuel Chukwueze, Samuel Kalu, and Henry Onyekuru. In his remarks, Dare lauded the players for their efforts at the AFCON and expressed belief that lessons learned from the defeat to Tunisia in the round of 16 would help them overcome the Ghanaians. Well, like the Yoruba would say, Atimba Kombo. You know, and I remember a point where Mikel Obi, he still says itself that he would never play on an AstroTurf field. And I've asked myself, has there been a point where Lionel Messi or Ronaldo complained and said, I'm not going to play today as big as they are. I'm not playing today because the pitch is bad. I've never heard it before. No. And then Ahmed Musa is okay, good. Make sure the fans come in their numbers and make sure we have a good pitch.
These players,
what does that mean?
These players have gone, the likes of Ronaldo, Messi, all the greats, Ibrahimovic, Shevchenko, Ronaldinho, they've gone on to play teams like Malmo, lesser-known Ukrainian teams, lesser-known Swedish teams. They go
on terrible pitches.
And they still put in 100% effort because that's why you're a professional. You're paid to play in good and bad weather, unless, of course, the authorities say, you know, this cannot hold, it's too dangerous. Sure, we should hope for better pitches
of course.
In Africa. We should hope for better pitches when we face off in such important competitions such as a World Cup qualifier. But you know what? I am heartwarmed that the fact that Osimhen will be available. And as for lessons taken playing against Tunisia, look, Ghana is a familiar opponent. We play pretty much the same style of rough and tumble
where I'm going to is not where you're coming to. Victor Osimhen is here. We have all our guys back. Cool. My point is, I think what Ahmed Musa said in this statement is absolute balderdash, if you ask my opinion. Because recently, the National Stadium in Abuja has just been completed.
True.
It's almost world class. We actually, well, like you praised the sports minister, like I praised him too, he went to private sector and said, guys, government doesn't have money. Help us out. And they have done just that. The stadium, which has not been finished yet, is the Surulere National Stadium.
Yes.
Almost done. But the Abuja National Stadium is done and dusted. What does it even mean by he wants a good pitch? But he should know that the pitch has been done.
I think he's straying off topic. It happens to the best of us. Unfortunately, maybe he himself isn't paying attention to the improvements that are happening at the stadiums.
Yeah.
He's focused on the wrong thing when the only thing he should worry about is whatever tactical setup, whatever tactical instructions they are being passed on to them by the Eguavon team. Let's see you perform better than you did at AFCON. Let's see you go up against a traditional strong opponent like Ghana and get past them. Ghana didn't do too well during AFCON.
Yeah.
Let us see you take advantage of their slump.
And leave pitches and fans. Yes. That's not your business, really. How the fans get to the stadiums or the stadium in Abuja, how the pitches should not be your concern right now.
Whether fans coming is not even going to be an issue because fans will show up with bells and whistles.
In the past 2 years, COVID was here and we didn't have fans and the games still went on.
And now lockdown procedures are lessened. Everyone is clamoring to be at the stadium. And to the extent that we saw at AFCON, how badly that could, when mismanaged, how it could lead to a crush. I think the one thing we should be worried about, is that whatever lessons that should have been taken from the way it was,
the AFCON, yeah.
Yes, isn't applied during this particular match.
I think the sports minister said it all when he told Ahmed Musa, listen, let's take the lessons from the defeat against Tunisia from AFCON. Let's bring that into the match against Ghana and try and win. Ahmed Musa, leave fans. It's not your business. Leave the pitch. Just think of how you're going to beat Ghana, the Black Stars, okay? Former world number one Andy Murray. This is some sad news for Mukael today. Former world number one Andy Murray suffered a brutal 6-love, 6-1 defeat by Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut in the second round of the Qatar Open yesterday. Now, Murray, twice a champion at the event, never got anywhere near the form he showed the previous day in beating Japan's Taro Daniel, lasting little over an hour against the second seed. 34-year-old took Bautista Agut to deuce to serve in the opening game, but managed only 5 more points in the set. Top seed Denis Shapovalov reached the last 8 with a 6-4, 6-love victory over Slovakia's Alex Molkan. Okay, Andy Murray lost in the Qatar Open.
I'm not surprised because he played so well in the previous game. He won that game 6-2, 6-2. A lot of effort was already expended. And when the thing about when I hear footballers complain about, we're playing 2 games in 3 days. Do you realize that tennis players play back-to-back games in 2 days?
Yeah.
Basketball players play back-to-back games in 2 days, 3 days with no complaints. And honestly, a man his age, a man with his injury records, I am not surprised. I still believe that he can. It's all about timing. Sometimes you time your performances right. You've prepared long enough, hard enough, and I believe he can still get 1 title before he's done.
Okay, let's see Andy Murray losing to Agut. We'll come back. Okay, now Norway could set a record for the total number of gold medals won by a country at a single Winter Olympics in Beijing. But the chef de mission, Tore Overboy, enjoying themselves and creating good relationships is more important than winning. With Norway's chances of claiming more gold in the remaining biathlon and cross-country races looking good before the games close on Sunday, February 20th. The record is within the reach, but Overboy and the Norwegians measure success in different terms. The Norwegians put their winter sports success in recent years down to a 3-pronged approach. Now, creating those conditions for success begins long before the likes of Olympic champions Johannes Eklebo and Marte Olsbun Reisland gets to the elite level. Now, I like that spirit. You know, there's this thing about the Olympic spirit. It's not the World Cup. It's not the Champions League finals. It's the Olympics. And basically, the Olympics was formed basically for friendship, you know, for camaraderie. You know, you guys come together and be friends, be nice. And the Norway guy says, okay, we've won the gold medals. We still have 2 events to go before it ends on Sunday. But despite all, I think it's about building friendship. These people should just have fun.
It's a good policy to hold, but it's also an easy one to have when you're already so good at and so dominant at the sports, this kind of sports. The Winter Olympics is...
How many years did they start the Olympics that even, you know?
The Winter Olympics is specifically, how do I put this? The Winter Olympics is a ground where the likes of Norway, Scandinavia, countries who have heavy snowfall year-round and already have some of the best slopes in the world, some of the best facilities. A lot of their athletes grow up knowing that these facilities are there for them. It's like just like in Brazil, where a kid wants to grow up to become a footballer because he's playing football on the streets every day. A lot of kids are growing up in the likes of Norway, believing I want to be a snowboarder, I want to be a skier, I want to do one of these Winter Olympics games, sports, and with the right kind of government policy, the right kind of strategy in place, you can afford to really put your heart, wear it on your sleeve, to form partnerships, to form diplomatic alliances, to live in the spirit of the Olympics as it was intended.
Now, Aston Martin drivers Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll took the new AMR 22 Formula One car for a test drive at Silverstone. Now, Aston Martin were the first team to show off their 2022 Formula One car in real life when they took the wraps off their latest challenger. Now, christened the AMR 22, the new car has been designed to Formula One's radical new rules, featuring swept-back aerodynamics aimed at improving wheel-to-wheel racing and bigger 18 inches, 45.72 centimeters wheels. The car continues to sport a similar British racing green livery to last year with the addition of Armaco branding. The Saudi energy giant, the team unveiled as a lead title partner last week. Good things to come. You know, people, they're now, you are seeing British people actually collaborating with the Saudis, with the Iraqis, with the Iranians.
And the last season, the Saudi, the Qatar race was the first time it was added. The circuit was added to the list. And I think Formula One is looking more and more to improve and expand, specifically expand, because expansion means more participation. I am more interested in F1 in recent years because of the work that the Formula One have been doing. A lot of times, you know, F1 is this kind of elitist sport, really loved by the high and mighty, the high rollers, the kings, the queens. But now, I think everyone is starting to take, because we all, for example, we all love Lewis Hamilton.
True that.
And we all think last year's winner was a worthy champion. They fought all the way to the very end, and the points were so close that kind of thing makes you sit up and anticipate for the next season and what it can bring.
Thank you, Mukail. Thank you. Now, we had Debo Oshundun earlier on the show, the Lagos State SWAN chairman, who spoke about the DSS and the sealing up of their secretariat. Thank you very much, Isaac. He had the cameras. He's behind the scene. You can't see him. Thank you very much, Shayo. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Paul. Well done, sir. Thank you, Debola. Thank you, Ajasa, AJ. And downstairs, the powerhouse, Shedrack. Thank you very much. Join us same time tomorrow, same station, Plus Sports or Plus TV Africa. My name is Wale Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.